Salugi is on the play as the Hindus, and Indica is on the draw as Ra. Now, I do think Ra has a potentially good matchup against Hindu. It's not as strong as Hindu's matchup against basically everything else, but there are definitely certain cards that you can play with in Ra that could definitely give you a much better percentage in this matchup. That being said, I do believe Hindu is probably the best deck currently in the meta. So let's see how this starts off. Alright, so Salugi's first turn has been to play a Pillar of Fortitude. Pillar of Fortitude makes it so every minion or pillar played after that is given an additional 2 health. So as you can see, standardly, Hindu would summon a 0-1 pillar that heals your, anything that's damaged at the end of turn for 1. And now it's going to heal, now it's going to be an 0-3 pillar instead. Shard of Brumi has come down to kill the 2-2 there. In a setup to get Agni down to kill all the cats. It would be the reason to make that play here. And as I suspected, he is going to play the Agni here to get rid of all those cats and make a 2-6 because of that Pillar of Fortitude. Now, Sobek could be healed to become a much larger unit as a 2-4. It gets the 1 heal life and then has additional +1/+1. Alright, Fist of the Gods comes down and stuns and draws a card. An often underlooked, card that isn't really appreciated for as powerful as it is. It effectively makes your deck 2 cards smaller while giving you an access to one of the most powerful mechanics in the game, which is stun. Okay, and it looks like Indica has played a... Indica is played a 1/4 Sacred Warrior. Sacred Warrior causes it so that anytime a heal happens to one of your units or your summoning stone, you draw a card for that. It's often not super powerful in the early game, but in the late game can become a powerhouse to draw you a bunch of cards at one time. It pairs very well with Capri to draw you, say, 3 or 4 cards, and really be able to turn through your deck to make sure that you get to all the goodies you need to get to make sure you have your annihilations on time, to make sure you have, any of the good cards you need to have in these matchups. Pillar of Patience has been moused over. Let's see where we go. Alright. Sugi has decided to cast the Pillar of Patience. What Pillar of Patience is an 0-7 pillar, which causes you at the start of your turn to draw a card, as well as make it so that all of your opponent's cards cost 1 more to cast. It is extremely powerful, and is often a card that, if it is not dealt with in the early game, will make it so that your opponent snowballs out of control and that you can no longer win. So let's see if Indica has the Execute or has a Silence for this pillar. Alright, and he's going to go with the Execute. Alright. And the pass back has happened. Pillar of Earth has been drawn. Pillar of Earth, especially in multiples, can really make it difficult for your opponent to maneuver their units in a meaningful way. 2 Pillars of Earth will stop all movement of ranged units from happening. What it does is it lowers the area units movement of your opponents by 1, as well as it also now does a 1 damage root to a unit. Alright, and it looks like he is dropping double Pillar of Earth, meaning that all ranged units can no longer move for Indica, and that only melee units can move 1. And having that Pillar of Fortification in play has actually made it really difficult to remove all of these pillars now, right? Both Pillars of Earth have 5 health, meaning that even something like an Annihilation isn't good enough to get rid of everything. So you really need now to have Annihilation plus. You know what I mean? And every time you add a plus, it makes the game so much harder to deal with. Annihilation plus Kepri, for instance, would be able to get out of the situation, but it's rough. So let's see what Egypt has here to get out of this. Or if they will also succumb to the great elephant. No, Elimination Hydra is definitely, a very powerful card. So much so that illusion here was just drawn. Makes that illusion potentially a Hydra. And that's really the powerful, effective illusion in these decks, guys. I always recommend people play at least one of them. I've seen a lot of people try to cut them, but the thing about illusion is that when it comes into play, it's so good when it's good. Now, illusion plus the Pillar of Fortification has now made a 5/7 Hydra. And now Hydra is also much stronger in both Egypt and in Hindu due to the fact that you're able to heal the Hydras. And since the Hydras only take 1 damage at a time, each of those heals is a world of difference.
This is a Chuki production.
Alright. And Indica is indeed attacking and trying to kill out some of these units. Playing this Anubis in the manner that Anubis was played here does kind of indicate that Annihilation is coming very shortly here. Got rid of those got rid of those Fortification Pillars, and also put enough damage onto the Pillar of Earth so that maybe they can move around again a little bit. That being said, for instance, Anubis couldn't move even in this turn at all. None of these units could. Yep. As I was saying before, we did kind of indicate Annihilation was coming. Unfortunately, for Indica, those pillars, the healing pillars from Hindu, actually all kind of gathered up to heal the Pillar of Earth, so that Pillar of Earth survived. Oh, Kali. So Kali has been drawn. Which is really a scary thing here for Indica if he doesn't play around it. Moving that Hydra to 5 health would allow Kali to just immediately kill it. So he wants to keep at least 1 damage on top of that Hydra at all times now. Or risk getting immediately blown out of the game. He is slowly waddling that Hydra over to the opponent's board. Slide 1 step at a time. And by the time it gets there, I suspect it will be very large. But will they have time to win the game? Salugi's own Hydra is also getting large, and will end the game in 2 turns. Alright, and Thoth has been cast. Which means a heal will kill. Oh, wow! Was able to use the blast there to kill both Pillars of Earth, giving that Hydra the walk it needed to threaten to end this game on time. And not healing to 5 life also allowed it to avoid the Kali death. Now the question is, with a... Yep, there it is. Oh, let's see the Echoing Blast truth. And Echoing Blast has come back to back for 3 damage to end the game. Now Salugi has managed to escape death and elimination. So it comes down to the last game, guys. One more game to decide who is the winner.